Alright, let's try this again. So we'll do round 2 right now. It's been a while. It's been almost 2 months, I think. But I got a sore throat that I'm dealing with right now. And so I'm going to be chugging this water the whole time. But there's been so many graph updates and so many things to dive into that it's going to take more than just this video to get all caught up. So the first thing to point out is Mutablex Imax. It's unrelated, but it recently got posted or is available now on KuCoin, and that might be something we look at later on. So I think last time we looked at 7, and there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more updates. God, my throat just like feels so dry. So I went through 8, and it was a lot of, well, there's a good amount of talk about scalpers and how it affects how people are gaming the system a little bit, and talks about how to prevent that. I think it's spending a little too much time on this could be bad, especially when there's other functionality that still has to be developed. So this is just one of the slides that they were showing where the scalpers were gaining a little bit more advantage than the honest curation. So the GRTs that we're going to focus on, there's 2 major ones that I think are interesting. There's the near indexing for the graph node. So the near is a layer 1. The first non-EVM one that they're doing, non-Ethereum virtual machine chain. And I think this will introduce, hang on one second. I think this will bring out some of the necessary changes needed to basically make their system more interoperable. And they have a demo that they were going to show here, but they never ended up showing it. But we can go into the Git where that's posted, and I think it's the demo there. The second interesting one that I saw is the subgraph ownership transfer and NFT-based ownership. So I want to touch on that. I'm just going to do kind of a light overview, get the wheels turning again, and then we'll come back and we'll dive deeper into it, because we still have to go through like streaming fast, EdgeNode, Figment, IO. So we have a few to go through, I think. And this is just kind of a starting point. All right, so the near indexing, they link to this proposal, and they give a good amount of detail on it. They basically say near is, so we do have to look into near as well. And near is the first integration in the near as the first non-EVM chain. And the data extraction from near is different, so they have to do a near specific firehose implementation. And this is, this highlights something that I mentioned before, is near is layer 1, and like what I mentioned, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel on some of these ones that they said they support, like all of them, because I'm like, oh, these are all Ethereum based or whatever. But near is actually a layer 1. I'm seeing some new stuff here as well, so I might have to dive into those. Where were we? 5 minutes. I'm gonna keep this short because yeah, this could go pretty in depth right now. So they say they have to do a near specific firehose implementation, and then they have to also integrate the near API into the graphs TypeScript. So my first thought is this is not a scalable solution for supporting multiple layer 1s. I mean, my guess is that as they go through this, they'll start making things more interoperable and more dynamic so that more things can get integrated faster. But we'll see, we'll dive into that. So this is on our to-do list. We'll come back to this. The next one was the NFT ownership, and then basically say the subgraph ownership can be transferred the NFT that it's minted, and I believe it's minted on Ethereum. And my guess is that this would allow them to even have a secondary market of graphs for sale, kind of, or like subgraphs for sale. I don't know. I mean, that's a passing thought, but could be cool. And they give some of the functions that are NFT owner-based functionality. So publishing a new version, deprecating the subgraph, and updating the subgraph metadata is NFT owner-based. And then they link to the PR for the actual. I actually have it open right here. They link to this PR, so we can actually go through some of the code that they were running, that they integrated into they merged into their branch. And then the near code, so indexing near, I think their demo Firehose implementation. So this is what I was most interested in, and I opened it up, and they have this. The README is basically a bunch of commands for testnet or betanet, and so I'm wondering if this is the demo that they were going to end up running, but they didn't actually run. So I'm wondering if this is something we could run, but it's in Rust, and I'm not familiar with Rust. I don't know if looking at the source code would be particularly helpful. So those are two things, the two that piqued my interest, which just dig the rabbit hole even deeper, because now we have near to investigate, and then we have these updates on what is actually required to change in order to support new layer ones, and is it scalable is my biggest question. That's it. That's all I wanted to touch on today. I just wanted to get the wheels turning a little bit, but we're always gonna, I think the idea is to focus around the graph, and then we'll, as it connects to other projects, we'll dive into those projects as well. But because the graph is such a like an infrastructure component, it seems like to me, so it should be connecting to a fair amount of projects. And even as news comes out with other projects, I see them using the graph. So it's not, it might not be making headlines, but it's almost like a necessary functionality, but it's not sexy, it's just database. So flying under the radar. So next time, I think I'm going to try to see if this GitHub is a demo. I'm going to go through, take a closer look at this. If it's a demo, we can look at it. We'll do, I think, a brief intro on near, just so we have an understanding of what it is. And then we'll try to, if we can, understand what is different about their data, and is it something where every chain is going to have different kind of data structure, not data structure, but structure of the metadata. So, because the Firehose implementation, I wonder if we can compare it with the original one, and then the near dependent one, or the near specific one, and see what changes actually had to be made. I mean, imagine you have hundreds of different Firehose implementation. It's doable, but I don't know. It just just adds that much more to do for them. So I'm definitely not hating on them right now. I'm still very happy with them. But I just got to get caught back up, and we'll go through these as fast as we can. Hopefully, we can talk about this every other day or so and get this stuff out. All right, yeah, my voice is pretty much done, so I'm going to call it for today. But this was just to get the gears rolling, so we'll be back at it once my voice is a little bit better.